Campbell.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Game junkie, Gerard Campbell.
Well, happening right now in Los Angeles, in California, is E3, the big gaming conference. It happens every single year at this time, and it's when all the media, all the industry, the trades, anyone interested and invested in gaming culture concentrates on. You're either there or you're plugged into it if you're into what's happening for the next year in the gaming industry. Gerard Campbell is one of those chaps from stuff.co.nz, twitter.com/GameJunkieNZ, and he joins us from his hotel room in Los Angeles. Hello to you, Gerard.
Hello, Wammo. How are you?
Very good, very good. Now, this is this your third E3?
This will be my third. First was 2005, and then last year. So it's actually quite good to be in warm weather for a change.
Absolutely, I can imagine. Now, it's always, if I know anything about E3, it's absolutely always crazy. There's so much action going on all the time. Not only from PlayStation, from Nintendo, but of course Xbox as well. And you've just seen the latest and greatest from Xbox.
Yes, we just had it's Monday for us here, so we've just come back from the Xbox press conference, which they held at a place called the Wiltern Theatre in LA. And then after that, I had a wee chat with David McLean, who is Xbox Australia, New Zealand sort of head man. So, yeah, but some exciting stuff coming out of the Xbox press conference. So it's been very much all Xbox today.
Yeah, now, over the past, I suppose, year, even longer, something called Project Natal, which has been under wraps, but we know that it's some kind of motion censoring Nintendo Wii-like device for the Xbox 360. It's now got a new name.
Yes, it has. Well, as you said, it's been called Project Natal for some time, and now they gave us sort of the grand official unveiling at a Cirque du Soleil themed and performed event in downtown LA last night. It's now called Kinect, and that name was sort of rumoured and sort of leaked, sort of the hours before this event last night. But essentially, it's quite different from the Wii, whereas the Wii with its motion sensing is in the controller that you hold on your hand, but the Kinect is, if you think of a sort of a rectagonal sort of camera that has sensors and cameras in it, and what it can do is that it can track body movement, and it can, essentially it's giving you controllerless gaming, which is quite exciting, I guess, in the scheme of things at the moment.
So it does it without using like the Nintendo has the Wiimote. It does it without actually holding anything.
Yes, you don't have to hold anything. It's one of the the Wiimote is the Nintendo one, and Sony's got their Move, and for both of those you have to hold on to something tangible in your hand. But the Microsoft's Kinect is completely hold free, nothing, because it's essentially this camera device which you're moving in front of. So driving games, you hold your hands out in front of you like a steering wheel and move as if you're a steering wheel. Everything can be sort of, you can wave at things, and you can sort of, a neat thing that we saw today at the press conference was one of Microsoft's engineers who's been working on the Kinect showed us how you can log into Xbox Live using sort of gesture. And also you can use voice commands with that on things like the Zune movie service. Like he played a movie, and then he wanted to pause the movie, and he said Xbox pause, and then the movie paused, and then to replay the movie he said Xbox play, and that played the movie. So it's quite exciting in the fact that, I was very sort of sceptical when I heard about this Project Natal Kinect thing last year, saying, could you really do this sort of thing without a controller? But from what I've seen so far, the ability to be able to scroll through a menu system and stop and start applications, either by voice or using gestures is pretty cool. And, the engineer was saying that, if you can, if you can see it, you can say it. So, if you want to start the Zune application server, you just say Zune, and that activate it. So it's pretty exciting. So tonight, sort of 9:30 p.m. tonight, myself and another Kiwi have been lucky enough to go along to a Project Natal, I guess, Kinect party tonight, and we're going to get a chance to get a hands-on with it and just sort of have a feel with, how it acts and how it works, and and what we can expect.
Great. So you get to jump around in front of an Xbox and look like a silly man.
Yeah, you get like a silly person. Because a lot of the games that they've shown, there's going to be 15 launch titles when it's released. It's releasing in the US on November 4.
Yeah.
And then we're expecting, Xbox Australia has told me that New Zealand can expect it any time between sort of November and 4 and Christmas, so sort of between that period. And of the 15 games that are being released, the ones that we've seen so far are all very sort of family-based, family-friendly games. There's Kinect Animals, which is like a virtual pet.
Mm.
You can pet a pet and ask it to roll over and play dead. And there's a very sort of, Kinect Sports is, I guess, the closest thing you can think of. Is that it looks very similar to Wii Sports. There's similar sports. There's bowling and there's...
Yeah. So I just wonder because they are very Wii-like, as you say. Very cutesy looking. Is there any branding sort of confusion going on here?
I don't think so. I wonder whether, I think with the target audience that the Kinect will probably initially go for is that sort of the families and those people that are, I guess, daunted by the complexity of a normal controller. I guess it would have been nice to perhaps see a bit more originality in perhaps the sports one, because especially the bowling one does look very, my first initial impression was it does look like, Wii bowling. And of course this is very early days for it. These are the 4 or 5 titles that they showed us sort of in trailers are first-party Microsoft ones, but there are third-party developers which are working on titles themselves. And I guess probably the one that looked the most exciting, I guess for me personally, was there's one coming from LucasArts, which is based on the Star Wars universe, and you get to play the Jedi Knight, so you're going to be able to swish your arms about like a lightsaber and use your hand to do force push and those sort of things. So if that one works as well as they anticipate that that could be pretty exciting. But I think initially the Kinect is going to give us these sort of family-friendly, harmless games that are going to probably initially be, I guess, compared to what the sort of stuff that the Wii was coming up with to start with.
And so that's essentially what it does, doesn't it? It takes what is pretty much a hardcore gamer's console, the Xbox 360, and widens it out a little bit to include the family.
Yes, it does. Well, because of course, up until this Kinect was coming out, Microsoft with its Xbox 360 hasn't really been catering for families or young gamers. There's been 1 or 2 titles, things like Viva Pinata, which have been very family friendly and kids orientated. But really, when you talk to anyone who has an Xbox 360, it is a hardcore gaming console. With games like Gears of War and the Halo series. So I think that with the Kinect, I think Microsoft has admitted that yes, we have sort of neglected that family market since launch, and I think this is probably a good attempt at them to try and just draw back the families and maybe try and attract those people who've never ever thought about gaming before, and perhaps that were daunted by a controller to maybe give this a crack and see that they can be doing sort of non-violent sort of friendly games.
Cool. Gerard, we thank you for catching up with us from E3, the big gaming convention happening in Los Angeles, and we hope to catch up with you later on the week once you've been on the gaming floor.
Yes, indeed. It still starts off tomorrow, the Tuesday for us on the gaming floor, and then it goes right through to Thursday, so I've got lots of appointments next coming days, so it'll be hectic and loud and frenetic, but it'll be much fun. Exactly.
And don't forget to check out some videos. Gerard will be posting videos, and the links you'll be able to find up at stuff.co.nz in the technology section under the Game Junkie NZ blog. Thanks so much, Gerard.
Not a problem. Thank you, Wammo.